Good evening, everyone, and welcome to September 18th City Council Work Session regarding the 2026 budget projections and priorities with staff and council. I will let you kick it off, Aaron. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mayor and Council. Kimberly and I have prepared for you an overview of the 2026 budget, where we think we're going to end 2025, what we think projections are going to look like, a little look into inflation, interest rates, and then priorities and objectives for next year. All right, so our objectives as a city, and when we make the budget, we are looking to be accountable stewards to our residents and taxpayers. We obviously want to provide excellent service to the community. That's always our goal: excellence in our operations, excellence in our planning, and excellence in our execution. And then we want to plan for the present and the future through capital improvement planning in our water, wastewater, streets, park and recreation, technology, city facilities, anything else you can think of, all of the fun projects we've been working on. So that's kind of the goal here: is where are we, what did we accomplish this year, and what are we looking to accomplish next year? That's what we're always trying to do in the budget. And then, of course, we want to retain and attract top talent, because if we don't have the right people in the right places, we're not going to get much done. And if we do get stuff done, it's probably not going to be very good. So that's why that one's always on our top list here. All right. In terms of the agenda, we are going to look at revenue and expenditure projections, both for where we think we're going to end 25. We're going to look at our budget for where we started the year and then where we think we're going to end it. And then we're also going to look at what we think inflation is going to look like next year, as well as our sales tax projections. Then we're going to talk about 2026 council budget priorities, make sure that we have everything listed on here that you all agree with. And then we're going to look at 2026 council and staff identified priorities, so we can make sure that we actually accomplish what we're setting out to. Okay, so next we're going to look at revenue, sales tax for the year. I know we haven't done one of these in, I think it's been about 2 or 3 months, because we were having an issue with our sales tax system. So we finally have updated sales tax numbers. If you look at the light green line, that's our 2025 numbers. We started the year off pretty much how we ended last year, with 1 month up, 1 month down. If you look at January, we were up about 4 or 5%. February, we were down about 2%. March, we were kind of flat, a little bit up. April, we were up a decent amount, about 8%. And then May, June, and July, we've been flat or a little bit down. So right now, if you look at the green line, we are trending in kind of a flat way. June is generally our second biggest month of the year after December. In June, we were down about 0.9%. So we're not exactly sure how the rest of the year is going to look. So we're budgeting a little bit more conservatively into the end of the year and then also into the beginning of next year. Lodging tax, this one's not really a surprise. Our light green line there, we're down pretty much every single month of the year, which we expected. June, July, our summer months, of course, have been down more than the other months, which is not a surprise given our regulation on STR. So any questions on either one of those?
Yeah. On the sales tax, how much, if any, effect do you believe the Walmart remodel had on that?
They definitely experienced a little bit of a downturn during the remodel, but they finished the remodel in June, so July.
So there's no explanation.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So when we look year to date through July 2025, we've received $4,902,000 in sales tax, which is $94,000 than we had last year, a 2% increase year to date. And if you look at month year over year, we received about $7,000 less than we did last July, which put us down about 0.9%. Lodging tax year to date, we've received $141,000, which is $80,000 less than last year, which puts us down 36% for the year. So that's how we're looking year to date on our sales tax. Any questions, George? I can see your.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at, so lodging, we're talking only hotels now, basically, and any STRs that are in the appropriate zones.
Correct. I mean, we do still have quite a few STRs.
Yeah, okay.
We do still have quite a few STRs.
Okay. And then lodging being down, I noticed there's a lot of discounting and long-term rental of rooms.
We've seen that as well.
Yeah. might that have an effect? Or, I mean, I'm assuming that that is true. I wonder what the occupancy rate is, I guess, really, but that's not our concern necessarily.
Is
Yeah, I
Debbie's
was
not
looking
here.
for Deb
She
too.
does,
Yeah,
we can ask her during
Yeah.
the regular meeting. I believe she isn't planning to attend, but she does keep a pretty close eye on the lodging vacancy rates
Yeah.
every single weekend, so.
yeah, we'll just take it up there. Okay,
But you're absolutely right. If they do convert and do more long-term rentals, even in the hotels, then of
Mhm.
course that's gonna even more reduce our
yeah.
lodging revenue. All right. Okay, well, I'm gonna turn it over to Kimberly. She's gonna go through how we're looking year to date.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So you'll see for our originally 25 budget, we had 15,453,000 in revenues projected, or I'm sorry, budgeted. Through the end of 25, we're projecting about 12,743,000. A lot of that is due to the sales tax reduction for the school. It's about almost dollar to dollar, the reason why we're so under there. Expenditures, 16,027,000. We're coming in a little bit above at 13,084,000. We originally budgeted about a $573,000 deficit. We're actually coming in under, which is great. We're coming in at about 340,000. And we did account for that in the budget. We did see that that was probably going to happen this year. So, but we're actually coming in less, so we're doing well.
And I will add. So the big reason why we are coming in a little bit under, even though we had such a reduction in revenue, is because of vacancy savings. Because we did purchase the Bergstrom Park land, we do have that budget in here at 695,000. So it is mostly vacancy savings. A lot of that was in the police department, and then city engineer, we had vacancies in the finance director position. So we had a few key vacancies that did create a lot of fund balance there.
All right, for inflation, so year over year, we're up about 2.1%. For June and July, we're only up about 0.4, so it hasn't been a bad summer for that. The inflation growth index is for 2026 is expected to be about 2.1%. You can see on the chart on the right, we're looking for 25 to be total about 2.2%, 26 2.1, and 27 about 2% inflation rates.
That's national.
Yeah.
It's national. The chart on the left is the Denver Aurora Lakewood SCIU.
And that's our local area that they pull for our area. Social Security is estimated to rise about 2.5 to 2.7% in 2006. Any questions there? So I heard you guys mentioning earlier a rate cut. We did have a rate cut. We're at about 4 to 4.25. They are anticipating potentially 2 additional reductions by the end of 2025. So with an additional 2 in 2026, we're hopeful for that. That'll help everybody out. The city earned 4.52% on invested funds year to date so far.
And that's invested in just, those are, yeah, what are you investing in, I guess is the question.
Is that like retirement savings?
We have our 4.52% is invested in Colorado Trust and Colorado CSAFE. So we have them in investment pools at the state level.
Okay.
Those are pretty good interest rates. We do have a little bit of money in our Vector account, which is in a money market mutual fund, but we find that CSAFE and Colorado Trust give us a much better return. There's never any losses.
Right.
So we much prefer that.
The nice thing about those two is they're liquid.
Absolutely, yeah.
Completely
We can
liquid.
draw within 24 hours on those, so we don't ever have to keep any money in our bank account other than our absolute operations. So I keep as much invested as we possibly can.
We are, for budget assumptions for 2026, we are assuming a 2% increase in sales tax. As Aaron mentioned, we are going to be a little bit more conservative with that based upon what we've seen this summer and this year. And then a 2.1% inflation rate for 2026.
I do have a question on that. I see that the sales tax change from 24 to 25 was 2%. Do you have any longer like trend trend type information, what the change has been over longer periods?
We haven't at this point. We will when we build the budget out. We'll probably do 1.5% to 2% for the out years, but it's going to be conservative estimates. Because we are seeing, when we were pulling the inflation data for this presentation, I mean, there's some people who think inflation next year is going to be 4%, 4.5%. The general consensus from the Congressional Budget Office is about 2.1, but I mean, if inflation is 4%, sales tax is probably going to be higher, would be my guess. So
Okay,
we'll have
thank
to
you.
see. The good news for us is we're mostly commodity based, so if inflation is that much higher, so will our revenues be for the most part. I did have on this slide, and it looks like I deleted it on accident. The minimum wage rate in the state is also going up about 2.4%. I think it's $15.16 next year, up from $14.81.
It's on our right now.
It's on there, yeah, so. Oh, that's why. Okay. But so that's what we're looking at for minimum wage. So that will affect us pretty significantly with all of our part-time employees throughout the city.
All right, council priorities, which were discussed at the council retreat in 2024, and continuing on, it's public safety. As always, that's got to be one of our top priorities. Staff attraction and retention, as Aaron mentioned before, if we have the right staff in the right place, we will get more done. Housing and zoning, transportation and utilities, economic development, and as always, well-managed city budgets and finances. Is there anything that the council has decided is a priority that is not on this list that you would like to see added into our 26 budget?
And we are going to go into a specific priorities that expand on these. So we can get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So these were carried over year to year, added onto as needed, but the 26 council budget requests: capital improvement planning, staff supplies, tools, and equipment, landscape beautification, again, those medians, things within the city in general, retain staff compensation. We are currently working on a comp study right now, so we'll be able to hopefully build in some of those numbers into the budget. Economic development, legislative involvement, and the debt fund balance reserve.
Is that debt fund balance reserve, is that what we did when we paid off the bonds early for the park? And we're carrying that on towards the pool debt? Is that what that means?
It's part of it, but it more refers to the 17% fund balance
Oh, thank you.
reserve
Yeah.
requirement.
Thank you.
Okay.
So major staff priorities that have been identified, and these are, reevaluated every year, but they're typically very similar year to year. We have streets, drainage, multimodal accessibility, parks, capital improvements, including Meadowood, Bergstrom, and Cavalier Park, downtown beautification and maintenance, medians, flowers. We're really going to be working closely with the DDA this next year to determine how we can do this together as a whole community. Open space planning and development. Avenger Open Space is one of our biggest priorities there. Capital planning and preventative maintenance. We currently are looking at both City Hall and the PD needing a new roof. So that is the majority of where that would be. Comprehensive water planning, the reservoir water acquisition, GIS development, and the golf course programming and maintenance of that. That'll be a big staff priority for this next year to.
How much more is left on the GIS stuff? It seems like we've been working on that.
There's
But-
quite a bit because it's kind of a never ending process with
Yeah.
continuing to put all of the GIS data into the database.
Right.
We are working with ArcGIS and we've added quite a bit of the water and wastewater resources in there, but streets, there's still a ways to go.
Okay.
There's still a ways to go on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then eventually we do want to work with the county and integrate with their system so that we have layover data, but we don't have that yet.
And I didn't realize, they're already fully functional on GIS stuff?
The county or?
Yeah, county.
Oh, the county has GIS
Sure.
mapping, yes.
Okay.
Again, they're probably in the same situation we are, looking
Yeah,
to always
just-
improve it, but they definitely are using GIS.
Yeah.
On the streets, I did want to elaborate a little bit on that. We are looking to do a pavement master plan refresh for that so that we can get a good idea. We're seeing all over town, the roads are failing a lot faster than the previous pavement management plan told us it would. So we are going to reevaluate that and then bring a recommendation back to council on how we can effectively serve the citizens, because I don't know, we're kind of being caught off guard a little bit by how fast some of the roads are failing.
Mm.
And so people are complaining quite a bit about potholes and road degradation. And so we need to get ahead of that right now. So that's something I do intend to bring for you in the 410 fund budget. We are looking at Paradise. We're looking at a few of the other roads as to what we're going to be able to put into that. And as I've said before, we're going to be doing more mill and overlay and less full depth reclamation, because we need to be able to hit more roads so that we don't have a crisis on our hands. The park capital improvements, we do, when we look at the fund balance, we do see about the same amount left over to be able to allocate towards Meadowwood is what we had put in last year's capital reserve. So that hasn't changed much. We are working with pickleball, and we also are working with baseball and the Hockey Association to determine how much fundraising that we can do to partner with the city in terms of being able to put all that programming together, and then also what grants are available. So we're looking at each one of these. Cavalier Park has been identified as a community park that we'd like to be able to redo. So we're starting to look for grants on that as well. So those are kind of the big ones there. There's a lot to do. We do have some money to throw at it, but there's a lot to accomplish that we'd like to be able to do there.
Most of that park capital improvements, would you say it is mostly grant money? Or just offset some?
A lot of it is the fund balance that we have allocated towards it.
Sure.
And
yeah.
then obviously having
Alright.
that fund balance makes it
Mhm.
more appetizing for grantors, because we are going to put so much
Yeah.
money towards it,
Yeah.
but we're hoping to get some partners. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, I would not say grants are the majority.
Okay.
I wish that was true.
Remind me again, how much did we set aside in the budget last year for Meadowwood?
3 million.
Okay. And we really haven't tapped into that because all we've really done is RFPs, correct?
Correct. We have not used any of that. It is sitting there waiting. And so we do plan to program that in the budget this year.
Okay,
So we're having conversations.
perfect. Thank you.
I don't think, did you have any questions on these or on the council priorities?
I mean, it's
Is that rain?
it's super TBD on the golf course, so for it to be a priority yet, I mean, you're just, I guess, there's no real budget right now for the golf course. There's no concept of that. We don't own it, so
Correct.
yeah, so I don't know, I guess as a priority, what does that mean?
We will be assuming that there's no surprises.
Mm.
We are supposed to close on the golf course on October 19th.
Mm-hmm.
So we will, in the budget that we present to you all, we will have a golf course section in there
Okay.
already. So it's pretty expansive. I mean, it's going to look very similar to the aquatic center in terms of the setup of how we have the revenues and expenditures broken out in there. We are talking to quite a few folks to determine if we're going to outsource or do it in-house.
Mhm.
And so right now, when we talk about the golf course, that's really what we're looking at, is how are we going to approach this most effectively for
Okay.
next year and then also long-term. So
Okay,
it's really,
that's more than I would have thought,
Yeah.
but great.
we don't have a choice. We got to get,
Yeah.
we got to get it. We got to get it now if we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was out there today and everything is so green. It looks so nice, much better than it has looked in a long time.
Oh, really?
There were mountains of golfers out there today.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
It's all great.
It's the
Yeah.
positive energy.
it is.
Yeah.
They're
Free
free.
water from the sky never hurt.
Jeff Wilson always likes to say that momentum is everything. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, next steps. We will bring forward a budget based on your priorities and what we've identified, prior and here tonight. Our next presentation will be a work session. I know it doesn't mention it on here, but October 16th is a work session where we will bring forth the budget. We will deliver it to you prior to that, and we will give our presentation at that moment. Then the November 6th work session is only if you guys have questions or if you need another time to talk and figure out some of the, any changes that you guys may want to see. So that one is kind of a TBD if you guys are needing it. We will do an initial posting for 2026 budget ordinances at the council meeting on November 20th. And then we will ask for your approval and adoption at a public hearing. But
the 2026.
oh, it is the old one.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've updated this and then we pulled up the wrong one. But what you have in front of you is the correct one.
I'm not gonna be bringing you any 2023.
No, we're not. We're not. We will do a public hearing and ask for the adoption and final approval on the the December 4th council meeting.
We are aiming to have the budget document to you all on October 10th. Hopefully that happens, because I'd like for you to have a few days before the work session to actually review it. The 15th is the deadline when we have to have it to you all, but we're aiming for the 10th. So hopefully all goes according to plan there.
So don't be surprised when a police officer shows up at your door.
Oh, don't
They are
spoil it.
not after you. They are there to deliver the budget to you.
I appreciate the heads up. I don't want my guilty conscience.
Yeah,
Do you all have any questions or is there
you have
anything?
not been through a budget yet.
I,
You have,
yeah, okay.
okay.
I do have a question for you. So we had golf course on there. Obviously, we're doing Bergstrom. You know, there's an acquisition underway with Bergstrom as well. Is that a priority or what?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
So the Bergstrom land purchase, we already have budgeted in the 25 in year-end projections.
mhm,
But the actual construction, and as we're going to see tonight with the Bergstrom master plan, we're definitely going to be looking for the DDA and for some other partners to be able to get that project done quickly and the way that the community would like to see it.
okay, but
But absolutely, it's going to be a priority. We're definitely going to program some funding in there for
Okay,
Bergstrom.
so are you just throwing that under parks capital improvements?
Yes,
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Sorry, all right. I didn't see it.
absolutely.
Aaron,
And then-
the
oh, go ahead.
closing's still October 19th. Is that the 19th as well?
For the golf course for Bergstrom, I think it's October 22nd.
Thank you.
And I don't have that in front of me, but I
I'll
believe
look at
that's the date.
contract.
It's,
Thank you.
I had the 21st, but.
Okay, it might be the 21st. They're right next to each other.
Yeah,
And we're with Bergstrom, we're past all the due diligence phases. I mean, that one's just waiting to close at this point.
But there's no reason to think at this point, either one of them won't close on time
At this point,
at this point.
we have not identified
Okay,
anything.
okay.
Correct. Any other questions?
just so the tie up with the DDA, I know the DDA is gonna be going through their budget in their session. Yeah, so when should I don't know this, I should, but when does the DDA have to submit their budget in final?
We will be bringing to the next meeting all of the priorities we discussed at the last
Yeah.
DDA meeting. We're going to bring you all the final sheets.
Okay,
And assuming that's good to go, then we'll bring that as part of the budget
oh,
document.
perfect, okay.
The DDA doesn't formally adopt their budget, but they review any changes that they'd like to request.
Okay.
So
On any grant funding for Meadowwood, do we have even an idea of where that might go at this point? Or is it way too early in the process?
I think it's probably way too early at
Okay.
this point. It really depends on what grants are available because some of them are very specific purposes.
Sure.
We're gonna go for any grant funds that we can and anywhere that we can fit it, but it's probably a little too early to identify exactly which aspects of the park we would be able to grant fund.
Due to inflation, at what point does the giant spreadsheet we had that laid everything out become irrelevant?
Oh, it was
Okay.
as soon as we went out for the RFIs, those numbers went out the window.
Okay, fair enough.
Some things they projected at 1 million came in at 4. Some things
No.
they said $1 million were like 200. So it was so off the wall. It wasn't even
Okay.
close.
All right.
And with construction costs, it's really hard to say because some of them, especially with the grading, they included the grading into the project costs, or some of them broke it out.
Right.
It was all over the place. Now, I do believe we have identified a few trails grants as well, right? We're going, yes. So we have open space planning on here, which
Mhm.
is our trail connectivity and Avenger. So we are identifying trail grants as well, which is a huge priority for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, council, mayor?
Not for me, thank you.
All right.
Council, do you have questions for staff?
Thank you all for being here early and going over this with us. We appreciate it.
Oh, my.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We are going to now invite Claudia Miller up to discuss some planning that they've done for the medians with Keep Woodland Park Beautiful. We have this included in our streets and multimodal accessibility in the 410 fund, but we haven't finalized a plan, so Mrs. Miller would like to discuss this with you all.
Thank you, Erin. Claudia, welcome.
Doesn't sound like it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. Oh, wanna turn it on?
Oh, I remember these.
Mhm.
And then,
Like,
what
wait,
do you just-
I see.
what do you just need you guys to pass these around and look at them?
Okay.
If it's not right.
Yeah.
See, Erin, you've got this budget down so well that it takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
compliments to you.
I can tell you that Kimberly and I have been working on it for 6 weeks already because with the golf course and some other things. So we're having a lot of fun actually, but we don't want to miss anything. That's why we really want to dive into these priorities, make sure that the right one.
Absolutely. Thank you. Good job.
Okay, I guess you can tell I'm going to be talking about hairy animals from the first slide. The purpose of, this is actually a revisit because several years ago, the median idea with the statues was presented both to the city council and to the DDA. That was presented by Ben at the DDA, and they seemed very receptive to that idea. And we're really the gateway to the mountains. And the first thing that we see, whether we're a resident or a tourist coming through on either side, are those medians. And it sort of gives quite an impression of whether this town looks like it's clean, has a theme, well-developed. That's your first impression. And so the idea with something that's low maintenance and has a wow factor is something that I feel and others could make such a significant difference. And when you look at the timing of this, it really aligns with so many creative enhancements we're having in our community. Bergstrom Park, the Tava Center addition. We also have the community gardens. We have emphasis on our city plants. But really, the thing that's going to captivate the people coming through and bring the pride out in the residents are those medians. They're the first online thing you see. So the timing's, I think, really good, actually better than a couple of years ago. Okay, the theme of the animals. Of course, I love animals, but I'll tell you an experience I've had as a teacher. When I came to here and we started teaching about the city history in school, there were so many cultures. I mean, you can see on the screen, we have an amazing history. The one thing that resounded with the children were the animals. We are living in the wilds, Mrs. Miller. Look at this. And also, I've worked at the farmer's market, and I've noticed that the artisans are actually, many of them capturing in their artwork our animals. So it's sort of a common denominator that the wildlife were here through all the cultures and pretty much indigenous to our area. And it'd be wonderful to have them represented. Lois Sprague did a beautiful job with the mural on the community center. And then we have the Ute Pass Historical Center. So this would be that addition that would really, I think, make it complete with the animals. Okay, now, when you look at statues, I don't know if you've seen, I don't know if they're still up, but along the side roads going down the highway, there were animal statues for years, and you see those in garden areas. Most of those statues are made out of a resin material with a paint, and they don't have long duration. So in really doing a lot of research on this, I hit a gold mine, and that is the Bronzeman Company. And something that they, where am I? Oh, I'm too far ahead. Go back to Bronzeman. Do you have that? Okay. They have 100% of the bronze metal, and they actually use patinas, and those just get more beautiful with time. And they had the strongest references. They are on your sheet that I passed out. Calling, they've been put in universities, cities, parks, libraries. They are they've been dispersed throughout the country and had high success. And one thing that's really interesting about these particular statues is they're casted in a lost wax process. And I learned that that is where you get the defining features on the statues versus some that are just a total plain mold. High quality work, low maintenance. This was interesting when I checked with different references in different parts of the country. Some of them wax them. When you put the wax on, they suggest once a year, and you put it in on a warm day when it can just kind of melt. And they said it's really a pretty easy process, but other places said that they never did wax. And 15 years out, they just look beautiful. So, and they're a permanent type of a structure that'll last probably past our lifetimes. Okay, something that's kind of interesting is CDOT came out in 2024 with specifications for putting artwork into medians on highways, whatever. And Ben passed, he had the part, and Sam, of doing the engineer specifications, and I had the part of getting the artwork specs and the quality, the community theme, that type thing. And I've included that in the packet that I gave you. It was my part of it. Okay, the pricing. The pricing is really good when you look into anything with bronze or something that permanent. And the only price that's gone up since we originally looked at it was the Deere family by a couple of $1,000s. But what they're doing is they're giving us, I don't see the bottom part in here. Does it go up? You'll see it on your specs that they gave us a 15% discount, taking it down from like $59,000 to $48,407.50. They also gave us a discounted delivery fee because there were so many that were being that purchased, because of the numbers. Another thing is the dimensions, and they range from 7 feet high down to 19 inches for little Sly Fox. When Ben was looking at this, he wanted the one with the largest footprint to see they'd fit in the medians, and that was the Deere family. And he, as I understood, found that worked within different median specifications we had. The placement was interesting because Ben asked us to walk the city, and we looked at several people on the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful Committee looked at the sight lines and visual appeal, and of course, safety would be something to be considered when the engineers look at that. And we just specified maybe by across from Sonic, AJ's, Colorado Bear, Donut Mill, Valero. But actually, when I heard that they might do some highway construction around Bergstrom entrance, then because we have 11 mediums, we could just shift those out because we were going every couple of medians. So that would be a possibility. There were some modifications from the first draft, and this has been interesting because we want a natural look. And the first draft that Ben presented, he was pretty excited about aluminum trees. But the consensus sort of is that more natural and using the existing trees, which this summer are doing a lot better, trying to keep everything we have there, doing uplighting, bringing in some boulders, some maybe shrubs like the Russian sage, and just to keep it more natural. Natural grasses wouldn't have to have all the trimming and make it look aesthetically beautiful. Another thing that has been modified that probably if they were going to be put in to save money, and also I think it's much more practical than thinking of, the original plan was to put in interchangeable bases. But those are, for one thing, you're sort of messing a bit with the company that has designed them to go in for the strength of what they've done. And the other thing is that if you had to say these came in and all of a sudden they take all the medians out, you could take them out and put them in another location, but you'd be using their base structure. And I think it's in accomplishing the goal of what I've kind of witnessed in the 25 years I've been here, the medians have always been, oh, we got to do this. It'd look better if I had this. Are they being kept up? What's going on? I think if you get something permanent in there that's beautiful, low maintenance, then you wouldn't need this idea of changing them out. And the problem with bringing in a lot of artists to do it, usually they're going to be working with materials that don't have the durability of a bronze statue. I put some steps forward, just some thoughts I had. I'm not an engineer, but I thought definitely the coordination with CDOT and the new idea of how that traffic is going to flow. And on the last screen, I put, welcome to our woodland wilds. And this guy looks a little squatty because on the PowerPoint, you know, he was sort of, but he's big and he's majestic and he was actually my favorite. And one thing I really thought about, one of the things that I love the most, and I just think it resounded with kids in town and the idea of what we've done with parades and lighting up our city. Can you imagine now to have these statues with wreaths and uplighting? It would just add to the beauty of all the, you know, all the ambiance of what we create at Christmas. And I think we're really known for that. People come, the kids, my grandkids come from the Springs. They can't wait to come to the parade, and they always comment on the beauty of the lights and what's done in Memorial Park. So that's kind of it, what I had. I will do, if this is a go, and you need me to do anything, the lady, Tori Spelling at Ronsman, the first-rate lady, and they are so good to work with. And like I said, the references, which I put on your sheets, are just stellar. They said they are so happy with those. Do you have any questions?
No questions, just I think this is an absolutely awesome idea. And I really hope we can figure out how to do this. I love these bronze statues. I absolutely love them. And when you consider the durability of them over time and all that, I really hope we can make this happen, because I just think it would really improve the aesthetic for people who pass through our city.
Thank you. I was going to mention that on the bronze on Majestic Parkway and in Paradise Estates, Will Brown had put some up. Isn't he cute? He looks much better. Oh, yeah, he does. You know, so squatty. Yeah. But they have lasted. We've lived here 25 years, and those were, I thought, brought from Mexico. But they are quality statues that he had up there, and they last. The durability is great.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
That's the
Great stuff.
biggest Indian I've ever seen up there. The replica of the Indian warrior. It's
Claudia,
huge.
I do have a question as well. I saw the cost there for the statues, but also see that the city engineers would need to have a project to design and install bases for the statues. And you talked about like uplighting. Do you have any cost ideas around that as well?
You know, I don't. I know that the uplighting idea came a little bit after, and I don't know, Ben was working that part of it. But again, those modifications, I think many people don't want those trees taken out. You know, and if you did, then maybe some other type of a tree that would, you know, work in the CDOT specifications. But the idea of those bases, I think they were going to be more costly putting in interchangeable ones. But I don't think the company has ever worked with those interchangeable ones. And they aren't going to do the installation, but they will come with their people that will show how to do them. And they've got it pretty well figured out. They've, you know, done this all over. So
Okay,
Any
thank you so
other-
much for the work you've done on this. I think it's a really pretty idea.
And I will add, we did do some cost estimates on how much the bases would be. It's $5,000 per base. So what I've asked Kip to do in the 410 budget that we're working on is we're looking at doing 2 bases in this next year's budget. But I've also been working with Rob and facilities on putting new rocks in the median so that we don't have the weeds grow up the way that they did this year. So we're looking at a couple of different things, but my thought, and I think this presentation was excellent, Claudia. Thank you very much. I would love to see us do 2 of these this year. One on each side, possibly maybe at AJ's, and then maybe coming into the other side of the downtown, and see how the reception is, see how it all looks, and then we can potentially look further. I like the medians that have the trees now. I don't know that I'd want to hardscape those and take the trees out. But I would love to get your feedback. I really would like to have this conversation tonight so that we can program this in the budget as well.
I mean, I don't mind the trees, but we can't just rely on wet years for them to look attractive and maintained. That's, I mean, I think that's the thing that we have to keep in mind on anything that requires maintenance or that's living, whether that's a flower or a tree or whatever. It's easy in wet years to look at something like that and go, they look great. But I don't know if we do as well of a job in the dry years of keeping them up as we could. So, I mean, I'm not saying we take them out. I just think that we need to be better at paying more attention to them consistently.
So Aaron, I think Ben had as Claudia was referring to, Ben had a presentation that he gave to the DDA at one point, which gave a great visual of how these things could, I believe they were included in the bronze statues. He also had the aluminum trees.
Yeah,
And so
and he had 11 of them in the medians, which I would.
that was excessive.
Yeah,
That's
it's
excessive.
quite a bit. Yes.
No.
I don't want aluminum trees, I can tell you
No,
that.
No.
but-
I don't think.
But some of the other
right.
stuff
And
looked good.
they're-
Yeah. It might help to kind of review that or maybe some rendering of it because it was pretty impressive, to be honest, when he did it for the DDA. My other question, well, that was a comment. My question though, is this really something we should refer down to the DDA and that's what I'm
Kimberly
thinking.
and I were just talking if this
Yeah.
is possibly a project for Main Street and DDA to work on
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I just think, I don't remember, I know at Lions Park at the intersection of 67 and 24, we lost some trees there that died. But I don't remember any of those trees along in the medians from AJ's to 24 losing many of those.
No.
The ones, those crabs in that we have in there flower so beautifully in the spring. And then those lights at Christmas in the medians are just, they really just add to everything around them. So I would hope that we would keep the trees we have. I certainly don't think we need to add more because they can cause a vision problem if they're too thick or turning left and right.
And I'm certainly not advocating we get rid of the trees, man.
Well, thank you so much. You know, I sometimes I am a little bit of a tree hugger.
No, trees are great if they're maintained.
Yes, absolutely. And most of those are white crabs, aren't they? They look like white crabs. Yeah. Yeah, I think trying a couple is a good idea, and see how that's received and how it looks and behaves. So.
I would say, I don't know how you could argue against a bronze statue, but I'll just stop right there.
Well, I like the cat personally.
It's a
Thank-
big cat.
Thank you, Claudia. Appreciate you bringing that back to us.
No,
You don't have to go anywhere.
No,
You do not have to
meeting.
leave. Claudia, that is a free choice. You can stay or you can go at any time that you would like.
So Councilmember Jones, we will look to discuss this at the DDA
Yeah,
meeting.
that'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, now we have 45 minutes to wait. Anything else we can talk about?
It's better we don't.
All right. Then we'll reconvene at 6:30.
Thank you.
Wow.
I'm gonna just make sure